How many of you have seen a Superman? In television? Oh yeah, that's good. How can you identify between a man and a Superman? It looks like you already know the answer. Well, this Superman in his supernatural costume becomes very powerful. I'm sure you would have all seen Superman's story as a child. With that, he becomes so powerful, he flies. He goes against gravity and he flies. He holds a train single-handed. He holds a building falling down. But the same Superman, after he removes his costume and wears a formal dress with a thick glass, he lacks confidence. He would actually be liking a girl. He wouldn't have enough courage to talk to her. He will be stammering because he does not have that power anymore of that uniform. Today we are sitting as normal human beings, ladies and gentlemen, with our own setbacks, drawbacks, limitations, plus and minus. But on Monday morning, when we wear the costume of a teacher and we enter the classroom, we are very, very powerful. For 35 students, each word of ours is very impactful. What a power God has gifted in this position called teacher. And what a privilege that each of us occupy that powerful position. A casual encouragement, as Aditya was saying, you can do it. A casual line from a teacher. The child does it. The child draws that power from that position. My teacher said I can do it. That means I can do it. A casual criticism, I don't think you're worth it, can break a child. Because we are very, very powerful. And it's a privilege for me to address so many powerful individuals coming from different schools under only one umbrella called educators. I wholeheartedly welcome you all. Thank you. It's a privilege to have you. ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಗಾದೆ ಇದೆ, ಕೋಶ ಓದಿ ನೋಡು, ದೇಶ ಸುತ್ತಿ ನೋಡು. Being a chairman, I thought going around the world is easier than reading the whole set of library. So I had an opportunity of visiting few of the so-called good countries in education. I thought I'll share few of the interesting practices they have with you all. That could be a very nice input is what I thought. I won't take much time, maybe 10 minutes. Which is the country which is declared as the country which has best education system for the last 2 years? Can I hear the name? It is Finland. So I was very anxious to know what is there in Finland that for the last 2 years it is treated as the best education system in the whole world. And when I actually went there, spent 10 days, and if you get to know what I understood, why they are the best, you will be shocked to your roots. They teach only in their mother tongue. Simple. It's like, oh, we are rediscovering the wheel again. In Finland, only Finnish is the language in which education happens. You come out as an engineer, you come out as a doctor, you come out as a teacher, you only would have learned in Finnish. It was like that 30 years ago. When in Karnataka, people only studied in Kannada medium of education. In Tamil Nadu, only Tamil medium of education. But we wanted people from different states to mix. So we made English a universal language. At what cost is a question mark. I'll leave it there. If you want to take yourself to Finland with your child, please note, if your child is studying in 6th standard now, you can't go to 7th standard. He has to first go, spend 6-7 months learning Finnish, and then consider continuing the education. So that's what makes them what they are. I am sure many of you have done B.Ed here. I'll ask an interesting question. How many of you? Almost all, yeah. I will ask a very interesting question. How many of you claim the B.Ed course made you a better teacher to teach in the class? Please raise your hands. 1, 2, 4. Okay, I see about 10%. Thank you. If you're a maths teacher or a social teacher or a Kannada teacher, how many of you claim in B.Ed course you learned your subject so that you could be a better maths teacher to teach mathematics? Can I have some hands going up? Very clear, 0. 1. Happy to see. In Finland, there is a 3-year B.Ed equivalent course where teachers are supposed to first decide whether they will be a primary teacher or a middle school teacher or a high school teacher. Once you decide your subject. I'm going to be a math teacher, I'm going to be a science teacher or a Hindi teacher, and for the rest 3 years, you learn what you will teach. You learn mathematics, what you're going to teach. And your skills are groomed in 3 years. If a country has to be best in education system, at the policy level, a lot of influence is there from the government. We can't have this discrepancy. 400 of us sitting here and we say, B.Ed did not help me develop my content. I mean, that's a course meant to do that. So tragic. When I was going through the classrooms, I saw something interesting. I saw in one classroom, a mathematics classroom, there was a piano. I was like, I could not place it. And in English classroom, I saw drums. I saw various instruments. I saw some costumes in biology classrooms. I did not understand. I asked, what does this mean? They said, in the B.Ed equivalent course, in that 3 years, you are supposed to polish one of your skills. Co-curricular skills, maybe to sing, maybe to dance, maybe to act, whatever. But you need to have one skill well developed, which becomes your best teaching skill. I like singing, so when I'm teaching mathematics, maybe I sing. So I develop one skill, then I qualify to be a teacher. Because seriously, to be a good teacher is the biggest performer I have ever seen. As a chairman, I come up on stage once in a month or two. Teacher goes in every other hour. She's a showman, right? A teacher is a performer. So sending her to a magic class or a theater class is much worthwhile to be a good performer than to our existing B.Ed. I want to tell you a story. 50 years back, the photo what you see up there, the gentleman is my father. He's called Mr. Puttraju. 50 years ago, he was in his 10th standard. 50 years ago, Karnataka suffered a huge drought. So much so that his father little had water for drinking and bathing, far from agriculture and irrigation and stuff like that. It was a very bad state, and my grandfather could not pay the examination fees of 10th standard of my father. It was very common way back then. Many of his elder brothers had dropped off in high school or 10th. It was very common. We can't afford fees, let's move on with life. One of his teachers called him and said, tomorrow is the deadline for you to pay the fees and I don't see you paying. And my father explained his plight. I can't afford to pay. And the teacher said, yesterday I got my salary. I can pay that 3 rupees to you. Go get educated. One kind act of a teacher not only got my father educated, got all his children educated, got an education institute where thousands of children are getting educated, hundreds of teachers educating. What a power teacher has. What a powerful position each of us sit on. I mean, very heartwarming position where we sit. Going back to my observations, I am not trying to compare the education systems, because we as a developing country have a different situation, different needs, different population, different asking. Developed countries have their own luxury, their own problems, their own situations to handle. I'm not trying to compare apples and oranges, but some of the interesting practices which I found, I would love to share. Each of us are living in an era which is filled with mobiles and tabs and apps. Our teachers, when they educated us, they didn't know we will actually be living in this era, did they? They had no idea. But they had the responsibility of making us equipped to live in this world. And we have the responsibility of making our children live in the world unknown to us. Prepare them to a world which we don't know. What a responsible thing to be. Knowing that in Finland, they encourage children to use mobile in their education. They feel, all right, it's an unavoidable nuisance. So let the children learn to deal with it. Mobiles are quite new, so they have yet not learned to deal with it. When I go to the classrooms, hardly anybody is looking at the teacher. They're all busy with their WhatsApp and stuff. But the education goes on anyways. We had 45 minutes class when we went to school. Even now, most likely, each of us teach for about 45 minutes, 40 minutes in stretch. When we went to school, out of 40 minutes, honestly, how many minutes did we actually concentrate on what was happening in the class? I could hear only one person saying 20. I could hear maximum 10 and 15 minutes. Do you think you are a great teacher that when you are teaching, they are concentrating for 40 minutes now? Many times in school, we fool each other. We as teachers fool our students saying, we believe all of you are listening to me. They as students fool us saying, we are attentive. And this joke continues. Well, it's not practical. It's not practical for any student to sit down and be attentive. In Finland, after every period, there is 15 minutes of break. I mean, some of them are like, what? Come again? There is 15 minutes of break after each period. Is it PT period, library period, music period, art period? No. Simple break. You sleep, you chat, you walk around, you run around, you play, you do whatever you want to do. So you come back refreshed to listen to what's happening. Moment I say that, the first question which pops up in your head, what's happening with the syllabus? Exactly. What's happening with syllabus? What's happening anywhere? I don't know. I don't know what's happening, but they have a break. That's an interesting practice which I saw, which I just noted. I don't know the pros and cons of each of it. Physical education is taken with so much of priority. I was very touched to see that every day there is 1 hour of sports, but that's no big deal. Even CBSE has prescribed 1 period of sports to us, not that we do. But well, there they take 1 hour of sports every day, but the catch is, they come from extreme weathers where temperature goes below 0 degrees also. They don't care. If it is snowing, they wear the costume necessary to play when it snows. If it is raining, they wear rain jackets, what is needed to go and play, but you have to go and play all right. Many times when it drizzles, we cancel our assemblies. Right? In our assemblies, our children faint at times. That is something really living by that line that the healthy mind rests in a healthy body. That's something very interesting observation I saw in Finland. I'll go to another country. Finland is quite boring. We're too small a country. I was in London for a while. I was staying with my friends. She had her brother's marriage in India, for which her daughter is studying in UKG. She had applied for 10 days leave to come all the way from UK to get the brother married and go back for a UKG kid. 10 days leave she had applied. And she had got this in writing. I have the copy of it, which says from the school, "We are not insensitive towards your request of leave. We can grant you leave for 4 days, and 2 days we can consider as absence. Beyond that, if you take a single day leave, you will be financially penalized with so many pounds every day." Right? I was like, sorry. Financially penalized for each parent every day. If you have 2 parents, then it's double. Because there are a lot of single parents there, so they're very fair. Equal responsibility for both the parents. I was like, really? Became very curious. Why is this? Answer was very, very simple. Government schools, like our government schools, children don't pay there. Then who pays? Taxpayers' money going there. A teacher is paid out of the taxpayers' money, and teacher is present to teach, and the student is not there. Who is responsible? Parents. Who will pay for it? Parents. So if on a working day you see a child, not a school-going child, a 6-7-year child walking with a parent, everybody will be like, "What's wrong? Today is Monday. How come child is outside?" That was an interesting observation I saw. You understand that the behavior of each person depends on the environment in which he will be. If I had to take an example of our dear science teacher Sadat, he in a mosque will be very sober. The same him in the discotheque. I have seen him. It's the same him. And we wonder, how come? The same guy with different behavior? It's the same with us. We ladies are very different in the staff room and in our kitty parties. Aren't we? Same we. Very, very different. Because the environment is dictating our behavior. Many times when we go to classroom, we already know this classroom has very obedient and loving set of children. When we go, for all I know, they would have kept a teddy bear or smiley for a teacher or something like that, which makes me feel good. We go with a preconceived notion already that this environment is going to make me feel good. And we are very considerate towards those children. That ambience is giving that. The children speak very politely. Do you mind explaining this to me again, madam? So that makes us feel even more considerate. There are some classrooms filled with notorious children like me, who would have torn some paper, would have stuck somewhere. And we know by the environment that if they ask for something, there should be more for it, so let me give very little. So the environment is dictating our behavior. UK uses this philosophy in education very profoundly. Teachers don't go from class to class after period. Teachers do not go from class to class after periods. They will stay in their classroom forever. Children go from room to room. A teacher stays in a classroom throughout the whole day. Let's say she is a Kannada teacher. It is her home. That classroom is her home. She has a picture of Kuvempu. She has everything of Kannada. The environment is set. If I get in there, I feel like a proud Kannadiga. The environment is dictating my behavior. And students go to their classroom, which teacher has already created the ambience. And children are already, their behaviors are dictated by the environment. She would have had the PPT she wants, she would have had the worksheet she wants. Maybe if she wants some mild music in the background, she has it as well. To do what she wants to do. And this change between the periods happens in a time frame of 5 minutes. Thousands of children gush out of the classrooms and enter another classroom. It will be like a huge rain coming and tuck, it stops. I mean, if you stand there for 5 minutes, you can't believe it. It just stops. Very mechanically it happens. But that gives a lot of opportunity for teacher to dictate the environment, the behavior of the students. When you go to English lab, if you have in the school, children's behavior changes than an English teacher going to the class. That's one interesting practice which I saw there. Staff rooms, generally in most of the countries, all primary teachers are in one staff room, pre-primary teachers are in one classroom, middle school, high school. In UK, I see that it is subject-wise divided. All English teachers from pre-primary to 10th standard are in one staff room. All maths teacher in one staff room. And that staff room is also an environment in itself, making it a learning of that subject. That subject becomes very alive in the staff room. That was an interesting thing I saw there. In fact, when Ayodhya verdict was passed, in our own school we saw somebody bullying, calling names, and we became very sensitive and we tried to address that, saying, what are you doing, that, this and all. But the amount of priority given in UK for sensitive things like gender sensitivity, racism, you name it, accepting other religion, X, Y, Z, the amount of priority which it gets, the emphasis it gets was very interesting. Now, answering your question, what happens with their syllabus? Most of the children in this country, after 10th, about 40% not necessarily will continue their education in academics. They move on to become plumbers, carpenters, cricketer, footballer, whatever, and country takes care of it. Those children who are very inclined to academics, there are special schools called as grammar schools who absorb these children who are very, very capable and inclined in academics and grill them in academics. I was thinking each of our school is a grammar school. Because each of our student, in reality, will probably do a degree or a double degree. So we have the obligation to ensure that everybody gets educated towards degree. So I'm not getting into the ball game of comparing. One thing to conclude, I want to tell you, around the world, all teachers who have visited India, all teachers of other countries who have visited India, envies each of you. I'll tell you why. Envies each of you. It's needless to say, the moment you say you're a teacher from India, they say, oh, it's like lucky fellow. You know why? Because they're like, you people get so much of respect from students. Amazing, so heartwarming. Because the situation in developed countries are very different. A boy and a girl is kissing in the corridor. There is nothing a teacher or a principal can do. They'll pretend they didn't see and they move on. By law, they're supposed to do that. They're not supposed to stare. It's illegal. So the amount of authority, amount of power a teacher in India gets and the respect the students give, throughout the world people envy us. You are blessed. You people are blessed. And we are very powerful, we are very blessed. We are gifted with this opportunity to make students' life. Thank you all for coming.